Welcome to the C-Suite Series on Channelchek. I'm Michael Kopinski, the Director of Research at Noble Capital Markets. Noble is the source of all equity research on Channelchek and the source for small and microcap companies. In this program, we are featuring Genprex. The stock symbol is GNPX. Noble analyst Ahu Demir will interview CEO Rodney Varner. Genprex is a unique company. It has a gene therapy that targets lung cancer and has a program that targets diabetes. The stock has been on a tear, up over 1,000% in the past year. In this interview, management highlights why the stock is still undervalued. If you'd like to get more research on Genprex, I encourage you to take a look at channelchek.com. Type in the stock symbol GNPX in the search box in the top left section of the site. Before I turn it over to Ahu, I encourage you to stick around for closing comments when Ahu and I discuss the key takeaways from this interview. Ahu, take it away.
Thank you, Michael. Rodney Varner, the CEO of Genprex, is here with us for the C-Suite interview. Rodney, welcome. Thank you very much for your time. We are pleased to have you here. My first question, I wanted to start with if you can provide an overview of Genprex's current portfolio.
Okay, well, certainly. Well, thanks very much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you all. Just an overview of our portfolio is basically we have an oncology program that is licensed from the University of Texas MD Anderson Cancer Center that we've been working on for a decade. We have a number of therapeutic genes licensed from MD Anderson. The lead gene is a tumor suppressor gene that we're delivering in a DOTAP cholesterol nanoparticle targeting initially lung cancer, although the drug may be applicable to other cancers as well. We're using that drug, our gene therapy, in combination with Tagrisso, and have recently obtained a U.S. FDA fast track designation to use our gene therapy in combination with Tagrisso in patients whose tumors progress on Tagrisso. We're also using our gene therapy in combination with immunotherapies, and particularly Keytruda or pembrolizumab. And we have an upcoming clinical trial in that combination as well. And then separate from oncology, just recently, this year, we've licensed from the University of Pittsburgh a gene therapy for treatment of both type 1 and type 2 diabetes that's still preclinical, but we're very excited about it.
Thank you so much for that. It will be great if we can go for every portfolio asset. We can start with Tagrisso combination in the lung cancer space. You recently received a fast track. If you can elaborate on what was the basis for this designation and what are the timelines for commencement of clinical trial, maybe perhaps data readout as well.
We did receive the fast track. It's to target the population of patients who receive Tagrisso whose tumors progress, which is nearly all of them. And according to AstraZeneca's data, the median time to progression is about 18 months. So essentially, if they have an EGFR mutation, they go on to Tagrisso. They stay on that until they progress. Again, median time 18 months. We would then treat them with our combination of our gene therapy plus Tagrisso. And that market, Tagrisso is AstraZeneca's largest selling drug. The market for it now is around $3 billion. We would be in a position to treat most of those patients as they come off of Tagrisso. So it's a very large market, and the FDA has identified it as an unmet medical need. The timeline for that is basically we're planning to start that clinical trial early next year, likely the first quarter. And we haven't announced a readout time yet, but I would expect for early data to be sometime next year. Again, we're very excited about that combination for this, the use of Tagrisso in this very large market.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a great market opportunity for Genprex. And if you would move to the next asset, the combination with Keytruda, what is the market opportunity there? And I guess the timeline, commencement of trial and data readouts would be very helpful for us.
The market opportunity is even larger. Keytruda is Merck's largest selling drug. I see various sales figures, but it should be at least 12 billion a year and rising. And the majority of late-stage lung cancer patients do receive Keytruda, either alone or in combination with a chemotherapy. We have licensed a patent portfolio from MD Anderson Cancer Center that covers the combination of our gene therapy with immunotherapies like Keytruda and including Keytruda, and also the combination of our gene therapy plus Keytruda plus a chemotherapy, so a three-way combination. That's important because many patients receiving Keytruda also get chemo in combination, and we're planning a clinical trial based on data out of MD Anderson to combine our gene therapy with Keytruda in patients whose disease has progressed on Keytruda. That is, they're one of the majority of the lung cancer patients who receives Keytruda. Their tumors or disease progresses, they need something else, and then we would combine our gene therapy with Keytruda to continue to treat those patients. That again is an extraordinarily large market, and we believe a large unmet need because there aren't a lot of options for the patients after they've progressed on Keytruda.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Lung cancer is probably one of the largest oncology indications, and Keytruda is the first line, the largest drug sales, as per my knowledge as well. So if you would go beyond oncology, you also have a diabetes program that you licensed from University of Pittsburgh, and you recently received a grant from NIH. So if you can elaborate on that program and maybe the timeline of the program advancing into clinic and how this grant validates or impacts the program that you in-licensed.
Well, yes, we're very excited about that technology. We in-licensed it just this year from the University of Pittsburgh. The research is still being done in animals. Initially, it was done in mice, and now it's being done in primates. The researcher at the University of Pittsburgh received the NIH grant for $2.6 million to continue his research in non-human primates, apes, basically, which he's already commenced. He's already done quite a bit of research in apes. And but this $2.6 million grant will assist in funding that, and of course that's money that we won't have to fund for that preclinical research leading up to clinical trials, which makes me very happy. The grant also, from my perspective, provides important third-party validation of the technology. This $2.6 million is a sizable grant from the NIH, and these are peer-reviewed, usually several levels of peer review before they're awarded, which means that the grant reviewers had confidence in this technology and had the confidence to spend that kind of government money on it. Again, that is preclinical, still in apes. We're not in a position to predict when we can open the first clinical trial on that at this point. So that's really all I can say about the timing of it right now.
Yeah, that's understandable. That's also a great opportunity, as the diabetes market is also a tremendous market within US. Also globally, of course. So if you would talk about the partnerships you currently have, it's MD Anderson and University of Pittsburgh. Can you give us a little bit information on the collaborations and also maybe discussions for the future potential partnerships, including perhaps AstraZeneca or Merck as per the lung cancer clinical trials?
Okay, well, certainly first with regard to the universities, we've been working with MD Anderson Cancer Center since 2010 on the development of our gene therapy portfolio. They have done extensive preclinical work on the portfolio, both our lead drug, which we're combining with Tagrisso and Keytruda, but also additional genes and additional cancer indications. That preclinical work is ongoing. The research at MD Anderson and other institutions has shown that this gene therapy may be effective in a wide range of cancers, in addition to lung cancer, which is very exciting. All of the research to date on the oncology program has been done at MD Anderson. They've done extensive preclinical research, which is continuing, and 2 phase 1 clinical trials and a phase 2 clinical trial, all at MD Anderson. And as I say, they're continuing to work on it and continuing to support our efforts moving forward. The diabetes therapy came from the University of Pittsburgh, which is a new relationship to us. I can say that we've really enjoyed the relationship. They've been great to work with, and they're very excited about the technology. We anticipate continuing to work with them through this year and into next year on the preclinical work leading up to a clinical trial, and then to conduct a clinical trial at the University of Pittsburgh for the diabetes therapy. You ask about company partnerships. We don't have company partnerships at this time. We have had discussions with a number of pharma companies, but nothing that we're in a position to announce at this time.
Understood. Yeah, that sounds quite a feasible option, as big pharma would be very interested in the lung cancer space. But I guess there's time for you to disclose the information later on. So if you would talk about, as the stock gets appreciated, which was quite impressive, over 1000% year to date, Rodney, where do you see the company for the next 6 to 12 months, and what would be the main value generating catalyst that if you would highlight it for the investors?
Well, we still believe that we're extremely undervalued given the assets that we have and the progress that we're making. You know, in the coming year, we'll be opening the 2 clinical trials that I mentioned. Prior to that, we will have finalized all aspects of our manufacturing to be able to manufacture at a commercial scale, which actually for a small company in gene therapy is a really big deal. And we think that we'll accomplish that this year. So completing the manufacturing, opening the 2 clinical trials, potentially early data from 1 or both of those trials are all strong catalysts. There'll be other events along the way that I anticipate, but I think those are the ones that are likely to be the greatest catalysts.
Okay, thanks for that. I guess my last question will be your current cash position and cash burn. That would also help investors to have an idea about the company.
Well, we've raised around $27 million this year, and we have a very strong cash position. I have to leave it with the public filings as to what that is. I think that it was around 25 million at the end of the last quarter, and that is ample cash to take us for at least 2 years at our current burn rate. Now, it is possible that we'll do activities that will increase the burn rate, and we could have to need to raise money within that time. But we're in a very comfortable position right now.
It does sound like that. Thank you very much for your time, Rodney. This is a very exciting story. We are very happy to cover it, and thanks for sharing your perspective.
Well, thank you again. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you all.
Ahu, this is a fascinating company. I don't know any of us that doesn't know someone that hasn't been touched by cancer, whether it's lung cancer or even diabetes for that matter. What is unique about gene therapy? I mean, can you kind of just give me a little background on what makes this company unique in that regard?
Of course, Michael. Thanks for the question. So the gene therapy is designed to introduce the genetic material into the cells to compensate for the abnormal genes that causes the disease. And their lead asset, Genprex, is designed to replace a defective tumor suppressor gene that's called TUSC2 and change it that is highly mutated in the lung cancer space. And as per my knowledge, they are one of the leading gene therapy companies in the lung cancer. Lung cancer is dominated by the targeted therapies. However, there are not many gene therapy companies, and Genprex is one of the leading ones. So that's quite impressive in that sense, and that differentiates them from others.
And it sounds like the opportunities for this company is pretty dramatic. Could you just touch on the market opportunities for this company?
Yeah, of course. And as per Rodney highlighted as well, Keytruda is the main first-line drug that the sales actually reached to 11 billion. They are not only used in lung cancer, however, they're used in many solid tumors, and it is dominating the lung cancer space. And also Tagrisso reached 3 billion in 2019 and expected to reach to 9 billion in 2026. So the marketing opportunity is tremendous for them. And also diabetes, as we know, is a really large market opportunity in US. Once they get into the clinic, that will be another market opportunity that will drive the valuation and expand the share valuation for them. So the market opportunity is great.
Well, thanks, Ahu. It was a fascinating interview. I appreciate you bringing them to us. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael.